children live in homes where domestic violence is a regular occurrence. At our school, in any year, in any class, this number would be at least 16 out of 20. Out of the 196 countries in the world, Sri Lanka is fourth for its suicide rate. Maskelia, the most impoverished tea plantation region in the country, where we're based, is a hotspot. In a country where 6.6% of the 20 million population live in extreme poverty, of our students, 80% of them live off less than $1 a day. But the multi-layered social issues and the grinding poverty is only half of the problem. It's also a poverty of hope. In a country where businesses operate in English, only 2 out of the 25 English teachers in local government schools speak any English at all. So what hope is there? You see, the British brought Indian origin Tamils to Sri Lanka 150 years ago to pick tea. They became a dependent, uneducated workforce, fleeing a famine from South India. A third of them died on the journey, and they were spread around isolated, remote tea estate communities. Not quite slavery, but systematic servitude. So how did Tea Leaf Trust begin? Well, Yaz and I went on our honeymoon in 2007. We spent one night at a hotel in the tea estates, and that was enough for us to make a promise to go back and to start a school. Just over a year later, we returned and spent the next 4 years establishing a school for tea estate communities. Fast forward, and the school is now 2 schools. Our students are now our teachers, and we're replicated into more tea estate communities. So what do? We run a free 1-year full-time diploma course for 150 18 to 24-year-olds to give them the skills to have a choice and to make their communities better. Alongside English, speech and grammar, IT and business, we teach a subject called ethics that develops coping strategies and strong emotional health. Students sign up for English but graduate stating that it's the ethics class that's changed their lives. We offer our diplomas for free, but there's a catch. In exchange, every week, our 150 students teach basic English to over 1,500 children in local government schools, a Train the Trainer project that's got amazing results. The effect of this is obvious for the children who access the project, but the main benefit is for the students at our school. After joining our school at rock bottom, this teaching transforms them. It transforms them into role models. Their community call them teacher, and the children knock on their door asking for help with homework. In 2013, World Vision International recognised our charity as one of the top 3 educational programmes in Sri Lanka. In 2016, an external evaluation conducted by our main funder, Libara Foundation, detailed Tea Leaf Trust as being top of their 13 national projects in every single indicator. So a case study. Bhuvaneshwaran's situation is actually not unusual, or at least wasn't when he joined us. His English teacher only spoke in English 10 times during his 2 years of A-levels. The rest of the time she slept. His words. He was a hard-working student, and by the end of our course, he gained a merit pass and was speaking English confidently. Our employment coordinator arranged a 3-month internship at an insurance company in Colombo. Upon completion, he applied for sponsorship from the Indian High Commission for a basic accountancy course. Out of 600, he was identified as being the most professional and having the best English. Instead of the £60 he had requested, he was offered a full-time scholarship to an Indian university. He completed a 3-year degree and returned to Sri Lanka, where he was immediately re-employed by the insurance company at executive level, earning 35,000 rupees a month, double the combined income of his tea-picking parents. He contacted me to ask for my help to establish a charitable fund so that children from his tea estate could access our school. The whole circle, a professional change agent. So, we run courses that benefit over 13,000 people since we've opened in 2010, but how do we know it works? Well, 80% of our graduates are in full-time employment, training or further education. The rate of unemployment amongst those we contacted last year stood at 5%, well below the national average of 22%. and those employed earn over 50% more than their contemporaries who didn't attend Tea Leaf Trust. Our students have volunteered 17,500 hours to benefit over 80,000 members of the community. The saddest but perhaps most compelling indicator of our success, though, is that out of our nearly 1,000 alumni, only 2 have committed suicide. This number should reasonably be expected to be closer to 50. Alongside a need for trustees and volunteers, we're asking for support to fund teaching and counselling qualifications, professional development of staff, bus fares for students who can't otherwise access the programme, emotional health lessons, and to develop our overall capacity building. I'm not asking you to invest in our project without commitment from me and my family. I currently run a UK-wide charity in secondary schools, 170 secondary schools, engaging over 30,000 young people. I've handed in my notice, and in September, my wife, my daughter and I are moving back to Sri Lanka to continue working on the project and making sure that every single penny raised tonight will change the life of young people living in these oppressive rural slums. Thank you very much.